2.5 years from now, when we celebrate the reopening of this airport, it'll herald in a new era, an era based on the confidence of a region that matters. It'll herald in an era where visitors and our residents alike will have that sense that they matter and that this region will really know it's taking off. I am so excited today to announce that we'll be doing the groundbreaking on a $60 million investment in this Capital Region airport that is going to be so magnificent, so welcoming, so beautiful. This is the largest state grant this airport has ever received from us, and I'm really proud of what this is going to signal about this region, especially as we spend enormous amounts of time recruiting new businesses to this area. And I want to thank everyone who's part of this today, our partners in this, our County Executive, Dan McCoy, who'll be hearing from shortly. Thank you, County Executive. Phil Calderon, we've been to many ribbons cuttings, groundbreakings events here and welcoming new airlines and services. And I want to thank you for being the Chief Executive Officer over this extraordinary venue, the Albany International Airport. This is the first of 9 state-funded projects that I announced last September 14th, a $230 million investment in communities that often feel overlooked, but we cannot overlook our upstate communities. We can never forget that these are communities that have been through tough times. They have struggled. They have seen more people leave in the past than arrive, and we're going to change that. These are really vibrant communities, and a lot of people did have a chance to discover this area during the pandemic, people that were trying to escape the oppressive environment in New York City, which was the epicenter, the global epicenter of the pandemic. They did find their way up to our charming communities, and we want to make sure they stay. So this is all part of the attraction, having an airport that just signals that we support great infrastructure, services, but at the end of the day, we can also make them be beautiful. When you see that sense of a vision, of seeing a glass facade that says, we're into the future, it signals a modern era that is now embracing this region. So there's a lot of great images that are going to be created by what we're doing here today. It's going to be easier to check in, easier to get your bags, easier to get something to eat. It's all about the ease for the customer so they want to come back again. And that's what I'm so excited about. I also want to make sure these upgrades are good for our airline workers and our airport workers. They deserve a great environment. They deserve to have the amenities, and they have worked so hard. They worked through a pandemic. Our airport workers are extraordinary. And without them, this area grinds to a halt, and I want to make sure we recognize them as well. When you do a project like this, when you invest $60 million, the largest investment of this $230 million into one place, it will be transformational.
It's really about the passengers that come through this airport that are going to be more convenient and see a beautiful terminal and easy access. Because sometimes it's not about the flowers or it's not about anything else. They want the convenience, right? They don't want to wait in the long lines at TSA. They don't want the inconvenience. They just want to get through, get to their gate, have a good experience waiting for their plane to take off. And Governor, you and your team have made that happen. And the extraordinary things you continue to do and will continue to do as governor, it's great to be on this ride with you, so thank you. This airport started in 1928. And to just go through a little history, it was co-owned by the county and the city of Albany. And we went through a lot of transition over the years. But the first name was named after Roosevelt's son, Quinton. He was a World War I pilot. And then, they finally woke up and said, well, we can't have our airport Quinton. So they went to Albany, then Albany International. And it went through a lot of changes. In 1960, Mayor Corning decided to turn the airport over to the county. We paid them $4.4 million in 1960, which was probably a lot of money. But it's kind of neat, and like the governor pointed out, the history, it's nice. So I had a picture of the signing ceremony of the mayor at the time signing the airport over to the county of Albany. And, the first expansion in 1962 was the first terminal. Then we had 1968, then 1979, and then the great project in 1996. But I do say to everyone here, I think the best day here was January 26th, 1992. I came out of the military and I started working here with Lockheed, and then it turned into Lockheed Martin, and I spent 11 years here. And I have to tell you, it's unique working here at this airport. And it made me think about today and what the governor investment meant. It takes a team to make things happen, and there's a lot of moving mechanisms, and there's a lot of love and passion that go into this airport and what has happened over the years. And to sit here and almost 30 years later to see what you're doing in this transformational project, there's one investment, which is a huge investment of $60 million, so thank you, is probably going to translate into hundreds of millions of dollars in economic development here in Colony. So thank you again for your leadership and everything else.
We have a generational opportunity to modernize our infrastructure and to take this airport to the next level. It's also a recognition of the critical role that airports serve as both nucleus and catalyst for economic growth and development. In fact, a seminal study by the U.S. Department of Commerce on causal factors for regional vitality listed a vibrant airport as the major factor. The aviation pioneer Billy Mitchell was fond of saying, if you want to measure the heartbeat of a community, take the pulse of her airport. I want to take the pulse of our airport for a second. 2 bond rating increases within the past 10 months. Last month being accredited by ACA as the first airport in the United States and the 4th in the world to meet UN standards for building accessibility for the disabled. And this project is going to make us even more friendly towards accessibility for the disabled and the handicapped. Being the first airport in the U.S. to be accredited by ACI and GBAC during the height of the pandemic for our health and safety wellness standards. And last year, being one of the first airports in the world to be accredited for our carbon reduction efforts. Albany International and our incredible team strives every day for excellence and to showcase our region through that prism. And now travelers and visitors will be able to enter our airport through a fabulous new gateway that will reflect these accomplishments and that will showcase our region's leadership in technology, education, and commerce. This is a $60 million state investment in a $100 million project. $40 million of it is coming from federal sources, and Congressman Tonko, Senators Schumer and Gillibrand have been extraordinary leaders in their support of this project, as have our federal partners at the FAA. I also want to thank Federal Security Director Bart Johnson. Bart and his team at TSA are extraordinary partners, and a major component of this project will be a redesign of the TSA checkpoint area to make sure that we have a smoother and, as the governor indicated, much easier way for passengers, not as stressful as it is at some times during pinch point days when we have really busy travel periods. So this redesign will not only give us, as the governor indicated, a lot of additional amenities like children's play area, a neurosensory room for folks who have sensory challenges. It'll create more concession opportunities, but it's going to give us a modern airport with modern technologies and modern facilities. County Executive McCoy has been probably one of our biggest champions. I had, as he noted, the privilege and honor of working with him for 6 years as his deputy. He is the one who encouraged me to come out here and take this position. But I came out here and I saw an opportunity to use this airport as a transformational project to help spur and promote economic development and growth in the region. And that's what this grant is helping us to accomplish. And Dan is the one who pointed me in that direction. I couldn't be more grateful. Thank you, County Executive. We're going places is more than just a motto. It's a commitment, and it's an action plan for continued success.